What's up, guys? It's been a while since I've made a video, and a lot of people are asking me to make one about just how I'm feeling and what I think of the place so far and all that. And I made a really long blog post a while ago, but I didn't say everything I wanted to say, including specifically what I thought about the place, this and that. So I thought I'd go ahead and make one. I'm going to be talking slow as I can because I know there's a lot of people who have English not as their first language who are watching these and reading the blog, so I'll try to talk as clearly and slowly as I can, but I'm sure to get excited and not be able to do that, so I apologize ahead of time. So where to start? I guess I'll just start in a random place. So far the weather here is really good. It's very similar to San Diego. It's about 22 degrees Celsius, so you know, around the 70s during the day. When I first arrived there was a typhoon, as you might have seen on the blog, and it rained a few days, but then it was fine and it's been sunny ever since. There was a few times where there were clouds and so forth, but it's been very nice. And they said that in, I believe, the start of December is when the first snow begins. So it's just the beginning of fall, still the end of summer, so it's still really nice, like seriously California weather. But soon it's going to start getting cold in a few weeks, probably 3 or 4 weeks. And so some things that are really different about Japan. Obviously, you drive on the opposite side of the road, and the roads here. Keep in mind, I'm talking about Hirosaki City in the northern part of Japan. It's more of a rural place. It's far away from the city, and it's not as rural as I thought. It's not, you know, typical, really, you know, tons of shoji, you know, paper doors and all that. There's still tall buildings, supermarkets and so forth. There's almost no chains around here, chain stores. Like there's one McDonald's that I've seen in the whole city. I've ridden around on my bike and walked almost around the entire city already. There's no brand names that I recognize. There's no Best Buy or KFC or hamburger places or Best Buy or anything like that. There's no really large brands. In fact, very few brands that I know, which is good. I mean, it's nice to not have, you know, advertisements and everything that's thrown in your face all the time. Yeah, speaking of which, there are no billboards that I've seen here. There's some advertisements on the sides of buildings, but very little. Other than driving on the other side of the road, cars can drive in a lot more places than they can in the States. They can drive up on the sidewalk to pass traffic. People walk and ride their bikes in the streets a lot, and there's not as many cars. Obviously, much more bikes, about 20-30 times more bikes than in the States, and so that, you know, people can drive around them a lot. And the roads are very narrow near the living places where people have houses and apartments. And my landlord said, you know, several hundred years ago when there were wars going on here, when they were building the city, they made the roads very windy and not just straight for miles, very windy with lots of turns in order to confuse the enemy and slow them down. Interesting, right? So let's see, there's almost no bugs at all. There's those giant banana spiders, the black and white really cool looking spiders everywhere, and I literally mean everywhere. There's probably 10 as soon as I get outside my door, and their webs can be huge. I mean giant. 5 meters across, you know, 15-20 feet. They're huge. The spiders aren't that big, but the webs are. And there's a lot of dragonflies. I'm guessing that's what they eat, just tons of dragonflies. I'll be riding my bike and I have to swerve out of the way sometimes and not have them hit me in the face. But other than that, there's no flies anywhere, you know, like house flies. There's a few wasps, but a few butterflies, but I mean, you don't get nearly as many bugs as I had in San Diego or anywhere in California. And as far as birds and wildlife, there's a decent amount of crows. They're usually up high and they don't come down very much because there's almost no trash on the street. And I've seen only 1 or 2 pigeons, and they were at the airport. A lot of those really small little birds you see, but nothing else, no squirrels or anything, period, really. One thing that I'd say is the thing I like the least about Japan so far, overall, is the trash system. Anyone who's ever been to Japan will understand what I mean. In America and you know, most European countries, when you have trash, you just throw it away in a trash can. And only recently, really, do they have recycle bins. Only in the past, what, 5-10 years, do people actually have bins for other recyclables. In Japan, it's very, very different. There are 9, that's right, 9 different ways to throw away your trash. I don't even, let me get the sheet real quick and I can find out what they are. They are pretty intense. Well, I don't know where it is and I don't really care, but it's intense. So pretty much there's paper, burnable paper, non-burnable paper, plastic, food scraps, plastic like bottles, plastic caps, cans, burnable non-paper stuff, and like TVs and so forth. And like TVs, you actually have, in large appliances, you have to, in America, when you buy those things, you pay a $5 like CRV, I believe is what it's called, when you purchase it, or $8. Here you pay that, and it's much more when you get rid of the TV. You can't just throw it out. And if you say, you know, for example, in America, if you throw away lots of trash in the recycling bin, they'll take it usually anyway. You can just hide it like a mean person. But here, if you do that, they just won't pick it up. They won't. And it can get pretty intense. When I bought a ramen bowl my first day, I had to scrape the food out, empty it into one place, throw the chopsticks into another place, rip a plastic seal over my bowl, throw that in one place, and take the styrofoam bowl and return it to the convenience store as a deposit. Insane, right? If you buy, anytime you buy fast food or food from a store, or you're out and you have something like a can, sometimes you'll be holding it the whole day before you find a place to get rid of it. It is really annoying. I remember I had a carton of orange juice, and like a little one, and I was drinking it, and when I was done with it, I had to rinse it, rip it apart so that the entire carton became a flat piece of cardboard, or you know, whatever, paper, and then throw that away. It's pretty intense, but it makes a lot of sense. I mean, Japan, they have a lot of weird things that they do as far as that, but they do it for a reason. When you walk around, there is no smell of trash anywhere. In an alley, behind a house, behind a restaurant, nothing. It's very, very clean and it smells good. It's a pain at first, but you know, I'd say it's worth it, because in America there is a horrible trash smell almost everywhere, including your own home, in your backyard. It's terrible. And I'm sure because of all this, the Japanese, you know, they can recycle a lot more, and that's really cool. And there's a lot of fees for recycling fridges and all that I was talking about. So pretty much everything here is reused and recycled. I mean, there's TVs from 20-30 years ago that people fix and sell. So a lot of things are reused here. Bikes, super old, people still reuse them. Almost no one really throws anything away. So that's pretty cool, actually. It's, you know, it's smart as far as that goes. Let's see what else is there. They don't really play music anywhere. The only places I've heard music are where they're trying to bring customers into the store. Usually in department stores and restaurants, they don't play it, period. So that was very strange. They don't sell, I went to a few music stores, they only sell, you know, Japanese, Korean, and Chinese pop and rock, and classical music. No electronic music, no new wave, no reggae, no hip-hop, no rap. I'm sure they sell hip-hop somewhere, because I've seen a few hip-hop kind of places, but they're rare. They're definitely rare. And let's see, what else is there. Internet is not as popular and widespread as I thought. In order to use the internet at the school, you have to sign up and turn in a sheet to like 6 different people, which is a huge pain. But yeah, it's not, you know, they don't have it everywhere. You have to almost always plug in your internet. They don't have internet cafes anywhere around here, so that's kind of a pain. And the internet isn't that fast. I signed up for an internet service and it wasn't that fast. It's the same speed as normal internet at home and a little bit cheaper. So that's kind of a bummer, but oh well, it's fine. I also just got my cell phone today. Pretty cool looking dealy. Almost every single cell phone here, except for the smartphones and the Blackberries, and very few people have Android phones. Very few people have. A lot of girls have iPhones, but they're not as popular as you might think. Other than that, almost everyone uses this style phone, and this is my favorite style of phone because you just hang it up and it's protected. You know, it's pretty large. It slides in your pocket easily. So pretty much everyone uses these. And I got the cheapest phone, and it was about $70, I believe, and I got a prepaid one without a contract, and it's pretty